Hey guys, and welcome to a short and very sweet update on the Don't You Worry, They Will Pay France 1940 diorama. As you can see, the dio base has received some paint, and I will talk to you about this in more detail in a second. And of course, the main protagonist of this build, the Panzer IV, has received some dusting and light mudding, as well as the tracks have now been painted. And I'll just put it here for the foreseeable future here. I used the exact same method on these tracks that I used on the Panther tracks, the Panther 8 tracks of Das Werk. I used the Tri-Earth weathering set, or Tri-Tracks weathering set from Ammo by Mick. This time around I used it properly, and this is basically the position that this will go in. And one more thing that I added is I added one of the air recognition flags from Gero Designs that I reviewed on the channel. So far I really like the way the Panzer IV is turning out. A couple of things I still need to do with this. It still needs dusting and some more streaking effects and rust in certain areas. But other than that, the chipping has been done. The dark chips have been done. You saw that in the last installment. And I need to paint the stowage a bit more. And then, of course, the back will receive some stowage. And then I need to do some dusting and some grime in the back on the fuel filler caps. The exhaust needs to be painted. This has not yet received any paint, the exhaust, and then the road wheels need some dusting and light mudding. You can see here when I lift this up, the front already received some light mud and dusting, and the rest will receive similar amounts of the stuff. And then this is done, and then the base and the figures will receive the most attention once the Panzer IV is done. And then I hope to finish this in the not so distant future. But let me show you guys what I have done with regards to the dio base. For that I move the Panzer IV out of the way a bit and move this forward so we can zoom in. I first applied a very dark layer of dark gray onto the dio base, onto the cobbles here. After that, I airbrushed a very thin and highly thinned layer of light gray over the top, just to create some interesting discolorations. And then I used cream white or creme weiß from Make Ammo, which is normally the color I use for interiors on my tanks, to dry brush over the top surface of the pavement. After that, I applied a coat of Alclad Aqua Gloss, which is currently drying. And after that, I will add a wash so that we can get some nice deep shadows between the stones. And then, once that is dry, I will add pigments to the road surface. I really think this looks nice. Of course, I could have picked out some of the stones with different shades of gray. That sounds weird, doesn't it? But I decided against it because I thought that the way this looks right now is going to be perfectly fine, because I want the focus to be on the Panzer IV and of course on the figures. And if you don't remember, there will be a bunch of figures, the woman with the young boy, a couple of German tankers, and maybe even one or two German infantry guys, maybe another civilian. Not entirely sure just yet. Maybe I'll add a couple more figures. But as you can see here, you can see the dark gray, and you can see the dry brushed areas, and you can see some of the light gray hue also. So I really like the fact, or the effects that we created. You can also see that I started picking out these pavement stones here, but I'm not happy with the way they look, so we will do something differently there. I just want to create some contrast with regards to the cobbles, and then of course have a contrast to the pavement up top, but not yet sure what I will use as paint for that, because the contrast that I have right now is too stark and I don't think that's looking realistic. Overall, I have to say I really like the way the Panzer IV is looking right now. I really like the way the cobbles have turned out, save for the wash, which will go on soon, and then of course the dusting. I will be adding some more debris in this area because I don't really like the plaster debris that's already on the base. I want to upgrade this, and I have some of the debris from diode dump, which I will just add over the top. That way it just adds a bit more three-dimensional effect, and it just looks more natural than using what is already basically cast on this plaster base. So moving this back in the shot here, having that sit there, I just think that this looks quite nice, and I'm really looking forward to this actually being completed down the road. I still have to figure out which color I want to use on the building. I haven't yet made up my mind. I need to look for some reference pictures of France in 1940 so that we can pick out a nice color for the exterior paint on the building. Then of course you have some areas where it's just basic brick, which will of course be reddish, but the rest I want to have a nice tone, and I don't really want to go with blue because then the contrast would be way too stark. So we'll see what we do. Well guys, just a quick addendum to what I thought was the finished video. I have now added the pigment with some white spirit to the base, and as you can see, it is creating some nice dusty look and dusty effects, and especially in between the different cobbles it just makes it come to life, and I really like the effect that it's currently creating, so I'm not gonna change much about this. And then of course the tank will be sitting right there, and I just really like the look of it so far. So next up will of course be painting the building, finishing the Panzer, and then as you can see the figures are already sitting behind the base there. They are then of course next up. But so far this is where we are. I have to say I'm quite happy with how this looks, and just wanted to make sure you know this. So thank you guys again for watching. This has been Harlem Modeling. I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, may the force be with you. Bye guys.